welcome in Matt Hasselbeck and Chris Nowinski, and they are both ambassadors for the Diagnose CTE study. Chris, I know you do a lot of research in this, and Matt obviously played 18 seasons. He's a Pro Bowler. He was a co-captain in the Super Bowl that happened 20 years ago. So, first of all, welcome to Papa and Silver, Greg Papa, Greg Silver. Hopefully that keeps it easy on KNBR.
Where does Greg
the 49ers.
Thank you, Greg. Thanks for joining.
Well, I'm just glad it's Moscone because everyone's been asking me, is it Moscone? Is it Moscone?
I told you.
You know,
you know the Bay Area. You got a daughter in Stanford, right?
These are the things you talk about. Sitting in traffic. You guys have a traffic issue here. I'll say that.
Gridlock.
Yeah, a little bit. All right, so obviously we want to get into the football side of this and Super Bowl prep and all that, but let's also talk about the important issues around football and being ambassadors for the Diagnose CTE study. Chris, just tell us a little bit about your research, what you're working on in the long term here, and also how important it is for CTE, concussion awareness and prevention, to start at the youngest levels of football.
Yeah, I mean, it was 23 years ago that concussion ended my career at the WWE, and I got very interested in this. We started this brain bank at the Boston University CT Center that we've studied now 400 former NFL players, and we found this is more than 90% have had it. So this is a bit of a crisis. You know, if you hit somebody in the head 20,000 times, they might get a degenerative brain disease that causes dementia that we used to call punch drunk. So we're so thrilled to have Matt helping us try to figure out how do we diagnose this in living people so that we can figure out how to treat it, how to cure it in our lifetime. So thank you for everything that you do for this.
Yeah, so, years ago my dad had pledged his brain to science. He to Chris's group.
Super
my
Bowl
dad,
champion.
Yeah, played for the Raiders, won
yeah.
a Super Bowl 18, but mostly played for the Patriots. So it's
Right.
my old team against his old team now. But he had pledged his brain, and then I followed, and I said, Dad, why are you doing this? He's like, I want to make the game safer for my grandkids. My son is a quarterback, just transferred from UCLA to Appalachian State. So we love football. We love the game. We want to make it safer for the future generations. So the opportunity that we have now, we've studied a lot of brains of people who have passed on. We've got the opportunity to study brains of people who are living. And basically what this study is, anybody that's 50 years old or older that played at least college football, you're eligible to help us. It's about a day-and-a-half commitment. It's very, very simple. And so the way I think of it is, you talk about all these hits. I feel like the guys that blocked for me took all those hits. I took some hits, but they were taking the punishment for me, kind of protecting me. I feel like this is a way that I can give back and kind of protect them and, the people that come after as well.
So I was watching Super Bowl 40 back, getting ready for our conversation. After every single snap, you would unfasten your chin strap and then refasten your – I've never seen a quarterback do that, which leads to why did you do that? And Doctor, I want to ask you about the Guardian caps that we see. I do the Niners games. So every single practice they wear Guardian caps.
Yeah.
A lot of players wear them in games, but a lot don't. I've never seen a quarterback wear a Guardian cap. Can you run the speaker helmet with a Guardian cap?
Yeah.
Why did you unfasten your chin strap?
So
Every friggin' play.
It's hilarious. I don't know. I never did it. Now I got drafted.
You don't know?
I got drafted to the Green Bay Packers. Okay, so it's Mike Holmgren's staff.
There. Yeah.
The starting quarterback was this guy named Brett Favre. You probably never heard of it.
I've never heard of him.
Okay, so
I'm a Niner fan, Mary.
Okay,
yeah.
So epic battles between Brett Favre and Steve Young, and in those early years. Yeah. So Favre, he would throw a pass. The ball hadn't even gotten to the receiver yet, and he'd rip his chin strap off. And we kind of would just make fun of him. Why do you do that? He's like, I don't know. I didn't know I did it. Then all of a sudden, I'm in my third year there, and the receivers are like, why are you doing it? I'm like, I don't know. I'm not trying to do it. I always did it. It was always a thing. I have no idea.
When you broke the huddle, you refastened it.
Yeah,
it's
just part of your, part of your deal.
So the Guardian caps.
So there's an expose
help?
up in the last few minutes on the Guardian cap on the New York Times website.
Oh, really?
So
Okay.
I would go see it. So here's here's the truth about what's happening to the Guardian caps. The NFL has been over promoting what it does for their players. It's not accurate when they say it's been reducing concussions by 50%. That is false. That's already been exposed. And now what's being exposed is that both the company and the NFL have been sowing confusion in the public. And now 500,000 of these caps have been sold to high school players and youth players and college players. That cap is a different product. That's what's on the NFL field. You can make an argument the NFL product works in a lab. The product being sold to your child doesn't even work in the lab. Okay, so there's been no study showing it reduces concussions, and the Virginia Tech 5-star rating system, the best helmet testing we can do, shows that if 2 kids are wearing it and they bang heads, it reduces rotational acceleration, the thing we really want to reduce for CT, by 2%.
Yeah.
So
all.
we have the country's been sort of sold this bill of goods, and I think they've been trying to confuse us that this piece of padding is doing something for the kids. It is not.
And can I, but and Chris and I were together on our issue, but we differ slightly on some things. Guardian cap, as an example, I'm a huge fan of. Now, for a lot of different reasons, I also, as a quarterback, don't want to follow through and hit my hand on a helmet and like break my thumb. Matthew Stafford had a similar situation there.
Josh Allen had that.
And I think Chris would agree in this expose that just came out literally minutes ago. What you're talking about is the NFL is saying one thing about the Guardian cap, and then the Guardian cap company themselves, they're saying something different. And so I think from my perspective, as a high school football coach, as a dad, we don't know. There are not studies that say, hey, this obviously nothing's going to prevent a concussion. But I do think that we are inching towards the right thing when we invite new ideas and technology. And so I've been personally a fan. I know Chris is not a fan because it gives this illusion that now, hey, you're safe now because you have this on. And that's not where we are either. And so
the best thing you do for your high school kids is that you don't hit in practice.
Yeah.
You do, and that is where this discussion should be. It should not be on adding extra pads that are proven not to work. You don't see concussions practice because all the other great things you're doing as a coach.
Well,
and we shouldn't be giving credit to the pad.
But even the way you talk as a coach, if you're around football, you say, hey, put your Riddell under their chin. That's how they used to coach a good block and good tackling. And you'd hear the pad, you'd hear the helmet hit the shoulder pad, you'd hear that noise. And now it kind of sounds like a pillow fight because you don't have that abrasion. Not that I don't know. I think from my experience, I would just say I feel like there are things that are helping coaches coach the way we need to coach now. You need to get your head out of impact. You need to coach tackling the proper way. You don't need to do drills where you're purposely like what you're referring to, Chris, is we don't tackle like where we're coaching in high school football in Nashville, Tennessee. We don't tackle. We run it like an NFL practice. Like in the NFL, these players are so valuable, we're not tackling them. And that's kind of how we do. We teach the technique, and then we let it happen. What happens in our 8-game season?
So where is our game at? We just had Sertan the second and Benito. They're going to play in a flag football game. Mm-hmm. Flag football is going to be in the Olympics in 2028. A lot of people are playing flag that could play Pop Warner. Is it? Do you wait to have your son or daughter play tackle football in high school? Do you do it younger? How do we handle the head trauma
cool that
with our children?
This is kind of cool that where we are now, because for years Chris was trying to get younger kids to play flag football instead of tackle football, and he was the bad guy. I mean, you were the bad guy. And now here we are where the NFL, of all people, they're pushing for this to be in the LA Olympics in 28.
It is.
Yeah. They're pushing for girls flag football. They're trying to hit the globe with flag football, and it's a great thing for our game. It's a great thing for our sport. So it's just sort of like ironic where we are in terms of where you started with this thing.
The one data point that parents should know when they choose whether or not their kid plays is that CTE is like smoking and lung cancer. The more years you smoke or the more years you play football, the greater your chance of having this bad outcome. And so if you want your child to experience football but have much less risk of CTE, I recommend waiting till high school, because very few kids go on to play after that. And a 4-year window gives you a lower chance of CTE. But if you start at 5 and you play through 18, I am never surprised when we see CTE in those brains when those people die. And people need to hear that.
And this is where Chris and I also kind of agree to disagree a little bit, is that, in my family, I've got 3 kids. I've got two daughters and a son. They all play college sports. And my girls played.
Lacrosse is physical.
It is.
Violent.
But I'll tell you what's more physical: soccer, basketball, ice hockey, field hockey, some of the other things. So I've seen brain injuries in all those sports.
Yeah.
I would just say, if you're a parent, your kids are going to get hurt. And so minimizing their risk. So, like, I hear you on the football thing, sure, but then we got to have a conversation about soccer.
No heading till 14 either.
Right, but like we're not. That's
All of
not
them.
the situation. I mean,
It's
we got to have a
banned till
conversation
11.
about hockey. We got to have a conversation
There's
about.
no checking till 13. They've already done it. Football's the only sport that opens season at 5 years old. That's why it has a focus.
Yeah, but stuff happens. My first concussion.
Downhill skiing.
My
tear an
first,
ACL.
my first concussion happened at a mall in Los Angeles with figure skates. You know what I mean? I tell people it's hockey
It's bad
skates.
ice in LA. What do you figure skating?
That checks out. I can
bad
picture.
ice.
Were you wearing a leotard at
Double
the time?
runners on? What's that?
Hey, this is judgment-free zone.
That's why we're in radio, because I feel like it's a pretty safe occupation, all things considered, in the
I'm
concussion
ducking-
department.
I'm ducking chicken wings all day.
I don't know.
Maybe that.
I don't know.
It is
don't
great
say the
to
wrong.
have-
Don't say the wrong thing, guys.
I know. You'll get
Former WWE
Yeah, right,
wrestler.
no, I don't
So
want-
just
I'm
one
going
thing
right
on
back
Chris
to
too.
heel.
If you're near something where you can Google, Chris was Chris Harvard. So he played football at Harvard and then became in the wrestling world Chris Harvard. He was kind of the pompous jerk, if you would. He'd wear the Speedo, the crimson Speedo with the H
Coming
on the
from
butt.
Matt Hasselbeck. That's interesting.
And he had long hair, and he'd be in these like arenas and where they play arena football kind of places, and he'd be like, let me put this into words that even you could understand. Today I'm going to, whatever.
Yeah.
And so now you see him all prim and proper. He's a
Nice.
doctor and all this, but that's where his passion comes from, and it's worth the Google search or whatever your preferred search engine is.
All right.
Seahawks win this game Sunday?
I think they do. They're the deeper team. They're 1 year ahead. Doesn't mean that they will. I lost a Super Bowl to a wild card team that ran a trick play to Antoine Randall to Hines Ward, and I would not put trick plays past the Patriots. Josh McDaniels, they have them in their bag, so it should be a game.
That's exactly what I wanted to ask you about, actually, as a big pivot point of Super Bowl 40. Why do you think we see so many trick plays in Super Bowls? There was the Philly special. There was the Jawan Jennings.
It's simple. You put them in during the year. You prep for like week 4.
Just empty the tank?
Yeah, what are you doing? Clint Kubiak, he's like, oh, everyone knows the trick play. I'm going to be the head coach of the Las Vegas Raiders. Why hold on to it? Why hold on to it? It's right here. You heard when it went down with Doug Peterson and Nick Foles, he was like, hey, what do you want to do here? You want to run Philly special? Like I do. We've been practicing this stupid play all year. Might as well try it. And then in a real way,
the last game.
In a real way with the Patriots, whenever the Patriots have not felt great about the matchup, they're going up against the number 1 defense in football, and you got to create ways to basically scheme up touchdowns, scheme up points. That's what you do. You have a double pass. So it was always Julian Edelman was the thrower. Who's the thrower for the Patriots? And that's what Mike McDonald and those guys, they need to be going who was a high school quarterback? Who's ever thrown a touchdown in their life? We got to find out who those guys
Mike
are.
Vrabel. I'm going to him. Good to see you guys.
Thank you guys so
thank
much.
Thank
And,
you, Dr. Harvard.
Exactly.
And we mentioned that Diagnose CT study, diagnosecte.org. UCSF is one of our study sites. You can do it right here with the great Dr. Gil Rabinovich. So if you are an ex-football player, college or pro listening, sign up at diagnosect.org, and you're going to help us solve
and
this.
I met
Keeping
those
me alive.
doctors. I met those doctors all the last couple days. Very impressive group of guys who care a bunch.
Thank you.
Awesome.